We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Hassani.
And I'm Danielle.
And you're watching the Couples Academy Show. Every morning we come to you. If you're new to our community, we come to you every single day for 30 minutes to give you a dose of information, inspiration that will help transform
your life, help you transition sometimes through a tough phase. I mean, this is what we do. And you know, guys, while we're on the subject, when you come on here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let us know that you're here by coming on and saying, hey, my name is, and I'm from, so that we can acknowledge you on the second hand of the show.
We're excited because we have some events coming up. The Last Chance Weekend is soon to approach us, June 18th through the 20th. It is not too late. It is not too late to get involved. So make sure you go to the website, find out more information about that. We're committed to really helping you take your relationship to the next level. And one way to do that is to overcome the pain and the challenges that you are facing.
Yes.
And so that is the weekend where you can get what you need to go to the next level.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about that. We love Last Chance Weekends. It's people coming together. You know, it's sometimes you're at the end of your rope. It's your last ditch effort. Producer, I need you to move a little bit out of the camera shot. Like, move a little bit this way. Thank you, hon. Sometimes it's your last chance, guys, and you need to do something. And you know when you get to that place when there's nothing else left and you have to make that last ditch effort, that's the Last Chance Weekend. And isn't it powerful, the transformation that takes place when couples come together?
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
Absolutely. Listen, one of the things that we hear people talk about again and again and again and again, that if they could really embrace this particular skill, it'll make a difference. And that is communication. We know that that's the number one issue that people struggle with. So we want to encourage you, go to the website and get the More Than Words Masterclass, The Secret to Breakthrough Communication for Couples. We did a 5-hour masterclass. Right. It was incredible. And you can get everything for $97. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Now, we talk about the importance of doing a work day every single week. And so you can do that with your partner. Just take an hour at a time. That'll last you for 5 weeks if you did an hour each week of this masterclass.
You want this masterclass? It's the problem that you're having. It's communication. It's the one thing that basically mounts upon every other issue. It's communication. You've been calling us, you've been texting us, you've been talking to us about how you don't know how to communicate with your spouse. That is the answer. And it's not just, learning how to communicate, talk to each other. It's so deep. It goes into the psychology and the issues of communication so that you have deep understanding and know how to make some changes. So get that program.
Yes. Now, last night was Monday night. And, typically people do all types of dates on the weekends because things are popping, things are going on. But because our weekends are kind of different, we're working with couples, we're doing marriage retreats and intensives. We have to do things, during the week. And so Monday night typically is one of those nights. And, last night we had a chance to go out and on the town and I wasn't with my wife. I was with my lady last night.
I took off my wife cap.
Yeah.
And I put on my Yo Girl cap.
There it is. Because
Yo Boo cap.
Think about this, and we've said this before. If I'm taking my wife on a date, wife is associated with duties, responsibilities, tasks, obligations.
Right. I was ready to take that hat off.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And so she belongs to me as I'm thinking wife. But if she's my lady, she's someone I'm trying to pursue. It's a different attitude and disposition.
Could you say that again?
Right.
Because we have different roles, right? That's a huge thing that people need to understand. That wife role with the responsibility, same as your husband role, comes with a tremendous amount of responsibility. But when we put that down,
that's right,
and can just be your girlfriend, my boyfriend.
That's right.
I can pursue you, and I don't have to see you as the person who forgot to take out the garbage.
we're not talking about kids and what needs to be done at work and, you know, what needs to be done around the house. And we're not talking about deep, hardcore issues and things that we're trying to overcome. No, we're trying to be light. We're trying to be fun. We're trying to connect. We're trying to make it like it was. And when you do that consistently, that's when the great feeling comes over in your relationship.
I remember I used to feel so guilty about going out on a date when I had little kids, and I would be thinking about them the entire time, and I would want to talk about them, and you'd be like, "Can we not talk about the kids?"
Thank you.
I ain't think nothing about them kids last night. I was thinking about you,
I know,
boo.
that's right.
Thank you, Lord, for growth and development, because they are old enough, okay?
Yes, and so these are some of the things that we want you to begin incorporating in your life, and it's a perfect transition into our topic today. We're talking about marriage success secrets, the importance of secrets and techniques and all types of things that you can do to enhance the quality of your relationship in order to be successful. So we want to talk about these and then open it up in a conversation. And so we're going to go to the first one straight away. It is
remember your commitment. And that's a big one. I feel like, going out on that date night kind of plays nicely to that because, before I became your wife and you became my husband, I was your lady, right? And so there's something to be said about being committed to keeping that fire burning, right? And connecting with me, the woman that I am. And I think oftentimes we forget about that part of us as we move forward together in life, and all we see is the duties and the tasks and all the shortcomings and all the issues. And I see you every day in the same shirt because you're around the house, and you see me in the same nightgown or whatever, and we start to disconnect from that original commitment to love, to cherish, to do all those things that got me in the first place. And so I feel like that's a big part of it. Keeping that flame burning is keeping the commitment so that you don't get tempted to look outside.
And I think what you're saying is important. Let's draw a clear distinction. Being committed to your marriage versus being committed to doing certain things within your marriage are two different things. Because you could say, well, I'm committed to the marriage, but
right.
You don't show up and you don't do anything, that you don't honor anything. Your word is not, worth anything.
Right.
You're not consistent. You're not doing the necessary things. So the commitment to the marriage is the overall commitment, but what you do within it
Right.
is the commitment
And
that you're
to
talking
me,
about.
who wouldn't, commitment to the marriage, especially for a male, like there's lots of benefits to having a wife, okay? It is not good that man should be alone. Let me fashion him a helpmeet that is suitable. So there are lots
Amen.
of benefits to having a wife. And I'm not negating there are lots of benefits to having a husband, a good husband that has submitted his heart unto the Lord and knows how to treat you like God treated the church. So there's a whole, there's a system in play here if we're actually working it. It actually makes a lot of sense if we're doing it right? But if those benefits, if that's all it is, if I have no connection emotionally to you, if I don't even like you, if you know what I'm saying? Remember, we talk about this all the time, how there was a time when we just didn't even like each other. We did not even look each other in the eye. We would pass each other like, okay, all right, you want to go this way, you first, then me. No connection, no talking. That's a miserable place to be.
It is.
That is someone who is not committed, right? Not committed to figuring out, okay, what's wrong and when did it go wrong? When did it break? How can we put it back together before it gets worse, right? People go so far out, so far gone, and they feel like they can't come back.
Absolutely. I tell you, just showing up is not commitment at all. You're making the situation worse by just showing, I'm here, ain't I?
Right.
I'm committed to this thing,
work.
ain't I?
What about that? I work.
Right.
I bring home the bacon. Well, if that's all you bring it home.
Such a one-dimensional individual who
Exactly.
feels like your only responsibility and obligation is to do one thing. So for some people, it's just cooking. I cooked the meal, didn't I? I don't need to show up no other way. I got this job. I brought my check home, didn't I?
Right.
I don't need to show up any other type of way. And that is crazy. And that's one of the problems that people are having in relationships. They really don't know what it takes to be a husband and what it takes to be a wife. You're talking about responsibilities. You're talking about skill sets. I mean, think about it. Imagine if you had a job, but you weren't competent, you didn't have skills, you didn't further develop, you didn't have training, you didn't perform well. All you did was show up because at the end of the week you wanted to collect a check. You would be fired.
Fired!
Okay? And so many
never
of us,
referred.
there it is. And we take the same approach to relationships as well. And then we wonder why we're not doing as great as we possibly can do.
Right.
So these are the things that we're talking about on this show, guys. We hope that you're getting something out of this. We're going to go to our first break and we will be right back. And we want to hear from you. We want you to get engaged in this conversation. So you're watching the Couples Academy show. Be right back. Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani. Listen, if you're just tuning in, I'm alone, but I wasn't. I was going to go. Danielle had to take one of our daughters to school, and so listen, you just got me. But I hope that's okay. But we're going to continue this conversation. But before we do, I just want to just welcome the members into our conversation. Dee Dee Jones, good to see you. DJ Pruitt, my brother. Torre, Sharon, Ralph Welsh, Ronald, Candor, BT Jackson, good to see you, brother. Angela's here. We're just so glad that all of you are tuning in. Mike Bryant, loving this conversation from Daytona Beach. Good to see you, brother. I just saw your Can Men and Women Be Friends video. It is so good. Listen, can men and women just be friends? That's one of the questions that single people ask all the time that they still struggle with. And interestingly enough, it's the same question that married folks struggle with all the time. That's worthy of a whole nother conversation that we'll have. But it's good to see Henry. Good to see you, man, from Germany. Glad you're tuning in. Che King, all of you. Listen, first timer, good to see you. Kian Don, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Listen, we're talking about marriage success secrets and what to do to take your relationship to the next level. And so we want to continue in this conversation to make sure that we're giving you what you want. Now, first we were talking about the importance of remembering your commitment, but we want to go to the second one, and that is assume the best of one another. That's so critically important that you assume the best of one another, because truth be told, so many of us think negatively about our spouse. We question their motives. We question their intent. We question that they have the best. My phone is ringing, guys. This is crazy. My phone is ringing. We're on the show, but we're going to keep this thing going. So we question everything, right? And so the reality is it's critically important that you give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. You know, it seems like when people do make efforts to do things for their spouse, everything is brought into the conversation. We begin to kitchen sink the situation, because if somebody has done something wrong in the past and they're trying to make up for it, they're trying to restore it, they're trying to get to a better place. And what happens is you begin to throw it away because you're questioning their heart, their intention. Then it gives a person person a space in their mind where they says, what am I doing this for? Why do I continue to show up? Like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So why do anything at all? And so what we're saying is, give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. Allow them to prove themselves to be worthy to change. See, people change all the time, but so many of us are continuing to look at our partner through the lenses of their past. We continue to imprison them to past mistakes, past failures, and don't allow them to grow. This is why I'm so glad that there's a God in heaven who judges us, because if man were responsible for judging us, it would be a horrible situation. Think about it. Even when you commit a crime and you go to jail, there is a term that you serve. And hopefully when you get out, you've served your time, you've paid your dues, and you're ready to move forward with your life to live a better life than what you were living before you got in. And likewise, in the relationship, we talk about this all the time, how couples go from being soulmates to cellmates, where you're trapped in a marital prison because you can't get beyond the pain of the past. And one of the ways to get beyond the pain of the past is to be present in the moment, not focusing on what your partner once did, but now looking at how your spouse is showing up today and understanding that they may be doing it from a pure heart and from a pure motive. And when you take the opportunity to allow them to be their best selves, you will benefit in that relationship as well. And that really leads to the next point, which I think is critically important, and that is, don't ever stop trying. I think that's important because so many of us want to give up, throw in the towel, call it quits, and just say we can't do this anymore. And oftentimes we haven't put forth the effort. Now, many of you have watched the movie The Dawn Wall. The Dawn Wall is an incredible movie. If you have not watched it, please go to Netflix, okay? Make it an inside date with your partner and watch the movie. They faced all types of odds, all types of circumstances that the average person would have thrown in the towel and said, I can't do this anymore. This is impossible. But they were able to turn a great impossibility into a possibility because they had will, they had determination, and they have a belief that they could overcome it. They never, ever gave up. And so we want to encourage you that no matter what you're going through in your relationship, no matter how it may look, no matter how bad it may be, you can get through this. You can get through this. And even when you're defeated, and even when your spouse is saying things that reinforces why you should give up. I can't tell you how many sessions I've done with couples in the early stages of our career where we were just like, this is just not going to work. They might as well just call it quits, go their separate ways, because this is dead as a doornail. Yet and still, I would see them a couple weeks or a couple months later, a year or two later, and they're thriving and they're successful. And so even when I became a doubter, I had to change my perspective, because I realized that even when a marriage was on their last leg, that something, see, the thing is this, if there's 100% belief that you have that something can work out, right? If that's the maximum amount of belief and effort that one can have. I often ask the question, what percentage are you at in terms of your willingness to work on this relationship? And I'll hear stuff like, well, 10%, 5%, 3%. And I'm like, I'll take that 3%, because that 3% can turn into 6. That 6% can turn into 20, and on up you go till you get to the 100. All you need is an ounce, is an inch, is a rat's nostrils worth of belief, okay, and willingness to do something different, and everything can begin to turn around. We were talking about at the beginning of the show how Danielle and I were going through hell in our relationship. We didn't like each other. We didn't talk to each other. We were struggling in every area of that marriage, but something happened. Now, here's the deal. We couldn't sit back and wait for something to happen. We had to be the something that happened to change the dynamic of our relationship. And when we began to do that, everything began to shift in a better direction. And we are here today doing what we do today because when we were at death's door, we didn't allow the circumstances of our life and our marriage to take us out. We were willing to do something different to overcome the challenges that we were going through. And that really leads to the next point. And I hope that you're getting something out of this. The next point is you have to communicate respectfully. Here we go again. We're talking about the power of communication and all the things that we need to do to really enhance the quality of our relationship. You know that the 5 biggest issues that couples struggle with: finances, communication, parenting, in-laws, and sex, right? Communication, when that is not right, issues begin to show up in all of the areas of your marriage. So the importance of diving deep in learning the skill set for effective communication is critically important. And so the question I have for you is, how successful are you in your communication? How do you show up for your partner? What are you willing to do to seek understanding? What are you willing to do to show empathy and compassion for the person that you're with? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back. We got one more segment to go. See you in a second. Sign up today for the Better Marriage Club and receive exclusive access to the private Facebook group to get your questions answered and your problems solved. Access to our marriage library of live seminars. Watch the Couples Academy Daily Show. Call the help hotline for laser coaching. Get our weekly action guides and receive a private one-on-one call with one of our marriage coaches. To join the Better Marriage Club, simply text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. Join today. Your marriage deserves it. All right, guys, we're back. I know we're having a little technical problems. I tell you, sometimes technology is not your best friend, but we're trying to get through it. Someone said, please repeat the name of the movie. The movie is called The Dawn Wall, D-A-W-N Wall. You can go on Netflix if you have a Netflix account, and you can watch it today with your partner. If you don't have Netflix, why don't you have it? But if you don't, you can go on YouTube and you could watch it there as well. And when you begin to dive in deep to that movie, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's not just for entertainment. The first time you watch it, you wanna be entertained by it. But every time you watch it thereafter, there are so many life lessons that you can get from that movie that you can apply to your marriage. It is incredible. I'm probably on my 10th or 12th watch, and I'll peel something back that I did not see before, that I did not hear before, and that's the power of this movie. And the question is, what is your source of inspiration and information? What is that reminder that every time you hear that song, every time you watch that movie, every time you read that book, every time you communicate with that person, every time you see that sign or that image, it is a reminder of how you need to begin to show up in your marriage. Once you've discovered what that is, then all of a sudden things can change. All right, guys, we're talking about marriage success secrets. It would be interesting to know, what was the biggest advice that you received from somebody about how to be successful in your marriage? We'd love to hear from you. We talked about the power of communication. We talked about being committed, right? Being committed to your commitment. We talked about a number of different things, but what about for you? How have you been able to overcome the challenges that you've been experiencing in your relationship? What has been the main thing that you've held on to that has made a difference? How did you experience breakthrough in your relationship? These are the questions that we want to really have a conversation about and continue this conversation into our next show tomorrow. I hope you're getting something out of this. Once again, guys, we come to you every single morning trying to provide you with information that will get you going throughout the course of your day. So many people have said it's like medicine to them. And I think that's an amazing thing, that something that is said or something discussed in this particular platform is inspirational to you. But listen, guys, we hope you got something out of it. We're going to continue and figure out how to get through these technical difficulties, but we're glad that you tuned in today. We want to see you tomorrow. And listen, if you have any questions for us, if you have subject matters that you want us to cover, please just reach out to us at info@couplesacademy.org. We would love to connect with you. We would love to make sure that we're meeting your need by delivering content that meets you where you are at. So listen, that's it for today. As we close out, you will see a couple of ads for a couple of master classes. Some of you have been taking advantage of those. We encourage you to continue to do so. Just go to the website at couplesacademy.org. If you want to set up a discovery call because you are in need of help to change and transform your relationship, we are here to do that as well. But until then, we will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. See you soon. Sign up today for the Better Marriage Club and receive exclusive access to the private Facebook group to get your questions answered and your problems solved. Access to our marriage library of live seminars. Watch the Couples Academy Daily Show. Call the help hotline for laser coaching. Get our weekly action guides and receive a private one-on-one call with one of our marriage coaches. To join the Better Marriage Club, simply text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. Join today. Your marriage deserves it.